Radio Wala. Radio Wala. Radio Wala.
Views expressed by hosts, guests and callers on this show and on other stations on Radio Wala are purely personal and not that of this radio station, its staff, management and owners of Radio Wala Private Limited, its subsidiaries, partners and affiliates. All calls can be used for public broadcast at another time by Radio Wala and its subsidiaries, its affiliates and partners. Now, on to the show.
Good evening, welcome to the show. Yeah, it's called Between the Sheets. So if you're just tuning in, well, I hope you don't get used to not coming in on time now. And don't make me do this more and more. Now, many times, we accuse our partners or sometimes feel that we're being used, and your friends kind of tell you, listen, I think you're being used by this guy or girl. Now, you're so smitten by your affection for that person, for the love that you have, that you don't probably see it. Has that ever happened to you? Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. Have you ever felt used in a relationship? Do you think guys use women more, or do women manipulate the man enough to use him more? How does this work out? So guys, girls, this is not the battle of the sexes. This is about your opinions and what you feel and what you've experienced, maybe not directly, but perhaps through your friends or family. Everybody strives to be in a great relationship where there's mutual respect, there's love, there's companionship, there's growing with each other, learning from each other, learning each other, and basically being witness to each other's lives. Someone that you could go back and say, look, I did that, and feel not to, and then not feel that you've showed off to him or her. But this kind of relationships can take on a social status, which we call marriage, or it could also exist. It can also exist in a premarital relationship. It's all how you take it, how you feel. Now, this business of being used, and I call it a business because those who use have a motive. Usually financial, or it could be sexual, or both. Or actually very emotional too. Someone is really, really, really needy and someone says, okay, listen, I'd like to hang out with this girl or guy because I really need someone to hang on to. Whether I give her or him what I want or what she wants, I'm getting what I want from her more and more. Emotionally being used is a lot more difficult to detect or realize. Well, then we also have this danger, I call danger, of overanalyzing a relationship where there is nothing, you find something. It could go the other extreme where you think you're being used when there is no such thing. And therefore, with that kind of suspicion, you figure out your relationship just going from bad to worse because what could have been just good because of your trust in this relationship, you're overtly being suspicious can ruin a good thing as well. So it's a really tight balancing act. It's a tightrope walk. It's not easy. This business between the sheets, you need a compass, a navigator to take you through water that's not troubled, to miss those high waves, to beat the rocks in the middle that'll break your ship. It is not easy to do. Well, I hope continuously engaging in discussions like this, sometimes a monologue from me and most often dialogues and discussions between you and I, helps you a little bit in navigating your life between the sheets. I mean, you may have a situation where you both used each other at the same time. Now, is that really called using, or is that perfect relationship? So much to talk about. Have you ever felt used? Are the guys more of a culprit than women? You think women don't use men as much as men use the women? Is that a true statement to make? And think about what this show is about. I can hear a lot of you saying, oh well, I have nothing here to say because I've never been used. And of course you're not going to admit that you did use somebody for something. Hota hai. Maybe you're an angel, you're a perfect guy. It's possible. Now, have you had this experience with some of your friends? Maybe they've had, jerks in their lives. Actually, I'm going to take a radical view on this. Using somebody. When you're in a relationship, my question to you is, aren't you using somebody anyway? Have you gotten caught up with so much being said about how bad being used is, abuse, it's not to be We've read it over and over again. We've seen it in movies where there's dialogues that are written, I've been used. Stop using me. Don't you think a relationship is based on using each other for something? That you're getting something from this person and the other person is getting something back. It may not be the exact same thing, but isn't a relationship by itself a give and take? And by that nature, isn't one person being useful to the other person? Just a thought. You could disagree with me. If you're just joining in, we're talking about how, you feel that you're being used. It's not fun finding out that someone is using us, right? Because in our minds, we're mentally tuned already. Okay, so whatever I've said about a relationship in its nature has use written in it. But let's keep what my theories are aside, or what I believe in aside, and let's focus on what you've been told to understand in a relationship. It's not fun finding out someone is using us. The sooner we figure that out, the better off you're going to be. I mean, you don't want to hang on to someone who's using you thinking, that they will change. It's like writing that person off as selfish in a relationship. So this is where the real distinction of use, at least the definition of being used, comes about. Where someone in this relationship, one person, is only taking from the relationship and not giving back. Now, he may be taking X. It doesn't necessarily mean that he has to give back X, because your need is Y, and therefore, you need to get something out of this relationship, and he needs to get something out of this relationship. That is a relationship that's healthy, because you're getting what each other needs. But when it's one-sided, when you're not getting anything out of it, but he or she is getting everything out of it, then you've got to reconsider that relationship. And it's a choice you'll have to make. And that's what this show is about, the choices you've made. Did you know that you were being used and yet you stuck on? I mean, it'll be a far cry for me to expect some of you who did use somebody else and call in and admit it. That takes a really big person to do it. When I say big, I mean not physically. It's not easy to admit to something that's wrong. But if you have that going on in your head where you feel that I did use to somebody and now you're a reformed person, maybe. Well, according to popular belief that people who use don't care about you anyway and they're never going to change. So how do you know that you're being used? I mean, there's only a few ways that you can really be used, It's money, sex, and emotional dependence. There are telltale signs. Now, if it appears that the person you are in a relationship with never pays for anything, is always you're the one paying, chances are they're using you, or he or she is really, really broke all the time. He's such a great guy, she's such a great gal, but she can't afford to pay her way halfway into your dates and your expenses. I mean, you may decide that because you have the money, that it's okay. You're doing it for the one you love, but could this also be a border case where that person is using you financially? Now, what do you do about this? Okay, I take this into consideration. What do you do about a culture of chivalry or male ego, should I call it, that a man will always pay for your stuff? Whether you can afford it or not, it's below his dignity, or his ego won't permit, or his being a thorough gentleman will not permit you to pay, even though you can afford it much more than he can. Would you be qualified as saying that you were using him? Imagine these gray lines. How do you navigate this? What about you? Have you felt used? There are certain things that you'd like to admit, but you feel, what if I get judged? What if people think I'm really nasty or an a-hole or a jerk or a biatch? If you have those fears, don't fear. You don't have to tell us your name. You don't even have to tell me the real city you're calling from. It's up to you. The idea here is to exchange thoughts. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. It may not be such a bad thought. As bad as it's in your head, the moment it comes out, it's an easier thing to talk about than you can imagine. So have you used anybody? If you're just tuning in, we're talking about being used in a relationship. Do you feel that you had a relationship where you were used, and how? How did you tell? How could you... if you got out of that relationship, you must be an expert in trying to figure out that you were being used. How did you figure it out? Share your secrets with somebody out there who could benefit from this. What were the things that you found in that relationship that led you to believe that you were being used? How can you tell somebody? How can you tell if you're being used? Have you figured it out? Do you suspect you're being used and you don't know it? Well, let's talk about that. You know, it's really, really sad when you suspect a relationship that's actually perfect and you put suspicion into it and you just ruin a good one. I mean, does your date pay for your relationship? As in pay equally in your relationship? When you go out and, for dinners or coffees or stuff like that, do you take turns paying, or is it only one of you paying all the time? If that's the situation you're in, let's examine that. I'm not saying you've got to suspect that, because there are circumstances that surround all of these things that need to be taken into consideration. And sometimes you've got friends who are pretty nosy and they stick their nose in your business and poison your mind. You got to be aware of these things too. Don't ruin something that you have. It's very difficult to find a relationship these days. And when you do, you got to think about it when you put allegations on it. And this time, we were talking about being used in a relationship. I mean, if you're married and you're thinking, all right, money should never be the issue because there's one person always paying for it. Yeah, it depends. Even there. It just depends on if the couple, both of them are earning. One of them is earning, but the other one gets an allowance, and you save the allowance up just so you can be able to treat based on your own savings. I mean, it is a very, it's a self-respect raising activity where you're financially independent, even if you're dependent. It's an oxymoron over there. But we can explain that as we go along. Now, it's this emotional dependence. That could be tricky. I mean, some people will use you, or at least be alleged to use you, just so they don't have to be alone. Man, I'm looking at this, and the catharsis in this whole thing is, I'm a freaking user. How do you pick a guy or a girl who don't like to be alone, and they don't care who fills the space? They just want you to fill the space, saying that they're not alone with themselves. Nah, I'm not so bad. But yeah, it's very easy to find yourself in all of these situations. And that's my point. We all do this. But it's how often we do this, how much we do this. Because anything in life in moderation is not bad. Even using people. Being used by someone else, not bad. It's when it goes to the extreme levels where you're pushing the envelope. That's bad. So how do you decipher what's the limit and what's not? Ooh, we got a call. Welcome Between the Sheets. Who's this?
Hi, Anil. This is Ritika this time.
Hello, Ritika. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Been a long time.
I know. I have been
See, I know when you're regular. I know when you're not.
I know you miss me a lot.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I know that. So, actually, I was really thinking about calling you, Last few weeks you had really good topics. But then you always choose to take good topics and I cannot call you.
Really? What are those situations where you cannot call me? You got a husband who's awake next to you?
Yeah. No, actually, my husband visiting me is a situation which I, have sometimes.
Oh.
Otherwise, I stay alone, so not a problem. But sometimes he's visiting me.
I know. I'm not very popular amongst husbands, and no fault of mine.
Oh, yes. Yes. Particularly with my husband, no, you're not. I cannot. I mean, I don't even tune in when he's around because he just don't like you.
See,
I'm so sorry to say that.
For no reason, I just get to be the bad guy. All I'm doing is my job.
Yeah, but who will accept the fact that, at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the night, the wife is, busy listening to some other men. And then, by mistake, once he saw me liking some of your stuff on your Facebook, and he was like, "What are you doing? I'm getting a message from my wife's page that she's liking some other men." So I was like, "Come on."
The first thing you did was unfriend him, right?
No, I cannot do that. But yeah, I have put up a setting, in which he does not get the notifications from my side. That's what I did.
Well, you should actually do a cheat sheet. You should write out a cheat sheet so that and circulate that so a lot of other people learn how to do it quickly.
Yeah, I mean, till now I thought that, he's not very regular on Facebook, so he'll not notice. But now
you'd be surprised, eh?
Yeah, I know.
That's the only way you can keep tabs on
you. He's getting more insecure because I'm staying alone now, so I think he's getting insecure about it.
Or you should unfriend me, as someone suggests in the chat room. Asta says you should just unfriend
you?
Yeah.
That can never happen.
Oh.
I cannot. No, he knows that, and he does not ask me to do that also. So, no.
So,
I can never unfriend you.
so what about being used? Are you the user or are you being used? And by the way, let's say hello to this new caller here. Hi, who's this? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Sonia.
Hi, Sonia. Say hello to Ritika. How are you?
Hi.
Hello.
Actually, I
Hi, Sonia. This is Ritika this
was
side.
trying to, I wanted to listen to your program, but I couldn't.
So you want tech support?
So that's right. And for a long time I'm trying, but I couldn't listen to your program. So I actually want to know the topic, what's going on. Actually, I really don't know anything.
Oh, but you got the phone number. Where'd you get the phone number from?
Sometime back, like 3-4 weeks back, I called yourself.
You called who?
I called yourself, like in your show.
You called my cell. You have my cell phone number?
I mean, like this number.
Oh, this number. Okay. So why can't you listen? Is it because you don't know how to, or what?
Sorry?
I said, why can't you listen?
Because my net is, I don't know what's going on. I'm like totally messed today, seriously.
Oh, it's just today you have a problem.
I don't know what's going on. Like on my phone, I'm not able to listen over there. Not on my lap. It's all like screwed up today, seriously.
तो रितिका क्या किया जाए?
I think she has an internet problem or something. Because I can hear you, properly on my iPhone. Your app is
Well,
working
Ritika
fine.
has an iPhone.
And your iPhone app is
Show
working
off.
fine. No. Actually, that's the only device I have right now. So.
Really? The only device you have? I could think of other devices
which
you
is
can
like
have.
really comfortable.
No, there are other comfortable devices.
I know, but that is the only thing I can talk about right now, right? All other devices should not be talked like that on air. So, I don't want to scandalize Sonia, She'll just run away.
So, Sonia,
Yeah.
well, we're talking about being used in a relationship.
Sorry?
We're talking about being used in a relationship.
Used.
Yes, used.
Oh God.
Why that reaction? Sonia, do you have a story to tell? I'm really curious to know now.
I'm sorry,
I have
I'm
a
not
really
able
strong
to hear
reaction.
yourself.
Okay, Sonia, you want to try and call back? I guess we're having trouble listening to each other. But now you know what the topic is. So, Ritika, what gives?
Okay, you're saying something to me?
Yeah, what made you call me tonight?
Okay, yeah. So, I called you because I have been used as well. I'm using also somebody. So, and now you have to choose what you want to hear.
Well, if you're doing it at the same time, then that's
No,
not
I
using
was
each other,
being-
right?
No. This is the two
Are you-
different
are you-
people we're
well,
talking about.
You're using two different people?
No, I am not. I said I have been used in a relationship before.
Did you know that, or
No.
was that person upfront when he used you, or you felt that?
No, not really. I realized after a long time.
How did he use you, and what did he do? Nothing. So, collect your thoughts on that. I'd love to find out how you figured out that you were being used and how. Okay?
Okay.
Are you being used in your relationship? How can you tell? What happened? Did it change? Did you figure it out? Did he change? She change? Come talk to me. My name is Anil. I want to find out who you are next. Ritika.
Yeah.
So,
I was here only.
no, I know you're here.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get used? And how did you figure it out? When did you figure it out? And just give us a lowdown, hoedown on it.
Okay. So, I have been a regular on your show, so I have been talking about this stuff with the virtual guy that I had, for 11 years.
Yeah, okay. So for the benefit of those who are just tuning in, hopefully I would like to believe we've got new listeners every night.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Yes, fine. So, I'm married for the last 15 years. And I was in a virtual first virtual friendship with this guy. 10 years back, 11 years back, I got in touch with him.
Yeah, it's like virtual reality. Some video game you were playing, or you're talking about some guy you've been in touch online with?
Online, I got in touch online with this guy on a social networking site. And then we chatted for, I think, almost 1.5, 2 years. Then we started like calling each other and all that. So it kind of got real also. But we hardly met, just 2-3 times. I was in Bangalore that time. So I got him in Bangalore. Then...
and where was he? He was here as well?
He was here. Yeah, he was there as well. So
okay.
We were in the same city, but we just met, I think, 2 or 3 times. It was very brief meetings we had. So nothing much. But we were very good friends that time. So kind of, we got really addicted to each other, chatting whole day. And, it was like... literally whole day I was spending with him, and it's like living together sort of, because we used to like be in touch.
Well, it's quite possible that you created this different world for yourself in your mind while he wasn't thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
You felt like you're living with him. I'm sure he didn't say that.
I don't blame him, because that is what I've realized now, that all that was all my mind playing all the time. I had put him at a place where I think he never reached. It was all in my mind. I got so close to him, and I used to share everything with him, all my secrets, everything. I think he's the only one person on this planet that knows each and everything about my life, all the good things and the bad things and everything,
But how did you get used?
I'm telling you that. So all this while, we were like good friends. Then I came to Delhi, and then even he came to Delhi, coincidence. That was a coincidence. So, when we came to Delhi, we again got in touch. There was just a brief gap in between. Then we again got in touch. So now when we have started talking again, it was more of a telephonic conversations that we used to have. So we kind of got more closer, because he was off chat. So we used to be like more on phone or on emails. So we really started getting together, and we got really close to each other.
But how did he use you?
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
No, you're already... we got it. You're close. You got close, and whatever means you used to get close. Now what?
We admitted that we are in a relationship, sort of, and everything happened. Now that, after that, after like...
So when you say admitted you're in a relationship, what? I love you, exchange?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Love you, and all the romantic, mushy things and everything, on phone we used to chat and do a lot of stuff, romantic stuff and everything. Even with cams we did, and, then we got a little...
with cams we did. Now, what do you do with cams?
I mean, we used to video chat and...
video shows as well?
Okay, to some extent, yes.
Yeah, you did video shows?
I mean, not exactly video shows. If you
how do you know he didn't record that stuff?
I don't know. I didn't care about it. Because I think I trusted him enough. He was there with me for the last 8-10 years. So I think I could trust him on that. And moreover, I didn't care, actually.
But you still figured out he used you 10 years later.
I am telling you, he used me because I feel now, it is now that I feel that he used me, because now...
But how? Kaise? Mujhe tadpao mat.
Okay. Because I have given him everything else in the relationship which a person can give except physical intimacy. Okay, so now that he's not.
No, wait. Let's rewind a little bit. What'd you say again? You gave him everything?
I think I gave him everything else in a relationship what a person can give except for a physical intimacy. Okay.
Okay, but it's not necessary that you gave what he wanted.
Exactly.
Okay.
But he never said that. He never said that is the only thing he wants.
But when you gave, well, let me ask you one thing. But when you gave, what made you give?
That is my requirement, I think.
So you gave for yourself, right?
Yes, I did. And just now you said, there are people who just want to be with somebody. It doesn't matter who that somebody is. I think I come in that category.
So really you used him then?
Yeah, I mean, I use him for my requirement. Obviously, even I used him for my emotional dependence. I had a lot of emotional dependence on him. And I just wanted him to be there, no matter what. So but we never got physically intimate. We never got that chance. And then he moved.
You never got the chance. Okay, you wanted to do it, but never got the opportunity.
Yeah, and
okay.
there was a time when I really wanted to give in because I wanted him to, I thought now we can do it, and, even I wanted it, and even he wanted it. So, but then there was the time I realized it, he went away. He had to go, move out, shift out of this country. So he went off, and when he went off, after that, everything started changing. Because now he knows that he's not coming back, not any soon. And then everything started changing, Then all kind of things came in between. He doesn't have time for me. And then,
So what do you think he wanted from you? I mean, this went on for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an overnight thing, like, a month or so things started getting from hot to cold. It was 10 years. Yes. What did he get in 10 years that he wanted from you, that he couldn't give back to you?
That he couldn't give back to me is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think he gave me whatever I wanted.
Okay.
There's nothing that he never gave me. I don't lack. I think I have not missed anything.
Still trying to get to the bottom of how did he use you?
I think that is my perception, but I think he used me in a way that he used my emotions, and he got involved. Whenever I used to say, okay, it's not working out, let's go apart, he will be like, no, I need you and all that. But I think he never meant it that way. Because now I feel that, even then I used to feel, I think I used to just shut it off, कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं सोच रहा है वो. But I think that is what was there in his mind, that he just wanted me physically. And because he could not get that, he used to like...
But you were willing to give it to him. I don't think he tried hard enough to get you there. Because you were willing to give it to him. It's not like you were saying, nahi.
That was only now. Like, initially he
okay,
always
so
tried.
Got it. So he wanted to get you to that point, and I guess he liked the chase. He got you where he could get you, and then he says, okay, no fun no more.
Exactly. I think that it's like that. I think... I don't know if that's the reality, but that's what I think about it. I think he could have said to me that if he's not emotionally that much involved with me, and he could see how much emotionally I was involved with him, so he could have said to me that, this is not what he wants, and, we had shared too much, and I have given him too much confidence and trust.
Did he give you the same confidence and trust, and do you think he was lying or truthful to you about himself?
Honestly, a lot of times I felt that he's lying. A lot of times. But I never used to get after that thought, I never investigated. I never did, because the only requirement was that I wanted him around. And I was scared that if I'll find something, I'm really being honest.
So you were in denial about whatever his faults were?
I was in denial. I was in total denial.
Just so you could hang on to him?
Exactly. I never wanted him to let go. There were a lot of times when I felt that this is not exactly what he's saying. And, I've got a few things about him that, was not correct, but I was just being emotional fool, and I wanted to be emotional fool. That was by choice, okay? Because I knew that if I lose him,
but both of you weren't explicit to each other about what you all wanted and what you were doing, and therefore, you used him, he used you, unknowns to each other.
Yeah.
And so this was actually a give and take relationship. There was no use abuse here. Right?
I don't know. Okay, yeah, even I had a motive, and even he had a motive. So that way, I think everybody, in every relationship, if you talk about using somebody...
Correct.
The other person is being used, he's doing it by his own choice.
Correct.
Because
this is what I started my show off with tonight.
Yeah, right now I have a situation where now I am just trying to get out of, this person. I did not want to go back to him again.
Ritika, who felt that she was used, but were you really, Ritika?
I think, if we come down to the bottom of this conversation, I think if two people are there in a relationship, and even if one person realizes that he's being used, the other person knows, if he's being used, he's doing it at his own will, because even he's
No, I think there's a fine line over here. Now, in your case, you were being used and you were doing the same thing back, so it was all right. But there are relationships where the person finds out that they are being used and stick around not because of anything else but in denial, just like you were, and hoping that things will get better. But like you said, Now, that hope in itself is a need.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
See, there's one more thing I would like to ask you. See,
Hold on,
now,
Ritika. We got company. Hi, who's this?
Hi, I'm Anamika.
Anamika.
Yeah.
It's a nice anonymous name.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. Ritika, Anamika,
Yeah.
Ritika.
Hi,
Hi,
Anamika.
Ritika.
So, yeah, Ritika, you were finishing up. But anyway, Ritika, it's great talking. Thanks for hanging in there. We'll come back to you. My name's Anil. The show's called Between the Sheets.